As we approach the November elections, I want to start taking a closer look at the United States Senate map for both Republicans and Democrats following the 2026 midterm elections. In today's video, we're going to take a deeper look at what the Senate map may look like after these midterm elections and who is best positioned to control the Senate after the midterms in November. So if you look on your screen already, you'll see that there are a number of states that are dark blue or dark red, characterizing those as safe Democrat or safe Republican states, depending on which state you are looking at. These are states that I believe are going to the Democrats or the Republican Party by 15% or more. So these are characterized as safe states, and we're not going to talk about them in today's video. With those in mind, let's talk about the states that we should consider safe or likely states for the Republicans and likely states for Democrats. So these are states that are being eyed a little bit more than traditionally maybe would be, but still are positioned to go to their respective party by a significant margin, anywhere from 5 to 15%. So for Republicans, I'm looking at states like Nebraska, Kansas, Mississippi, and South Carolina. Whereas for the Democrats, I'm looking at states like Minnesota, I'm looking at New Hampshire, and then I'm also looking at Georgia and North Carolina. Republicans, I'm also looking at states like Florida as another example of a state that is going to be in that likely Republican column. So I want to take a moment and talk about the states, the two states that I think are most important in this likely Democrat column, which is North Carolina and Georgia, which a lot of people may believe are more positioned to be in a closer toss-up race than what I have them characterized currently. But I currently disagree with that assessment. I think that Democrats are positioned to win North Carolina and Georgia both by over 5 percentage points, which puts them in the likely Democratic column. North Carolina, we've seen recent polls anywhere from 8 to 12 points having Roy Cooper up. Similar situation in Georgia with Jon Ossoff. So ultimately, I think Georgia and North Carolina both go to the Democrats in that likely margin, probably somewhere 6 to 8 percentage points on average. And with that in mind, I want to move over to states that then we would consider lean Republican and lean Democrat. These are states that we're still keeping an eye on, but are positioned to go to their respective party by 1 to 5%. So certainly closer states. And you may be looking on your screen and saying there's states like Texas or Iowa or Alaska that are closer, and the answer is yes. In this election cycle, I do believe that we're looking at states like these that are going to be the closest that they've been in modern history. The closest we can see in resemblance is maybe Texas back to 2018. But otherwise, we're looking at states that are going to go to the Democrats or the Republicans by a lean margin, anywhere below 5% but over 1%. So I'm looking at states like Iowa, which I think is a state that if we see the Democrats perform well here on the governor's level with Rob Sand, there's a chance that Democrats win with Josh Turek on the Democratic ticket for the Senate race. I think that there's a chance here, but still Republicans are favored with Ashley Henson to win this race across the state of Iowa, putting that in a lean Republican column. The next state that I want to characterize is going to be the state of Maine. I consider Maine currently in the lean Democratic column. So I think that right now Troy Jackson is clearly favored to win the state of Maine. It's the state that Kamala Harris won back in 2024 that Republicans are currently trying to hold on to in the 2026 midterm elections. Maine being a tough state for Republican or for Democrats here in the past when facing Susan Collins, but ultimately I think this year with the Democratic environment, it's the year that we most likely would see it happen. With that said, I think that Maine's in that lean Democratic tilt, which has it anywhere from 1 to 5%, probably closer to the 1% side than anything else. With that in mind, I want to move over to the next state that I will have characterized in a lean margin, which is the state of Ohio. In my last video, I believe I had this as a tilt Republican, but I'm more comfortable leaving it as a lean at this moment. I think that while we see Democrats perform well here with Sherrod Brown, I'm not fully convinced that this race is fully flippable yet. I want to see more data as we go into the November elections, but at this point, Democrats are certainly performing really well here, and if they continue that track, we may actually see this state flip over the course of time, and by the November elections, we may see Sherrod Brown actually win this race across the state of Ohio. The next 3 states are ones that are very interesting, and I'm going to save Michigan for the last because I want to talk about it more extensively, given it's my biggest change since my last video. The state of Alaska, I believe, is slightly favored towards Republicans at this current moment. I just believe that while Mary Peltola is still has an opportunity here to win in Alaska, I still think it's a long shot for Democrats in the state. And for that reason, I'm going to leave Alaska in a tilt Republican. That's a change from my last video where I had that as a tilt Democrat. In today's video, we're going to change that characterization to tilt Republican, but leaving open the possibility that by the end of the month, this changes back. We will have to continue to pay close attention to that race to determine what the chances are for Democrats and Republicans going forward. But at this point, I believe that Republicans are best positioned to win in Alaska, given the state's history. But we'll have to see. I'm interested to see how this race pans out. We haven't seen a whole lot of polling here lately, but on average, I would say that we see Mary Peltola slightly down. And with that in mind, let's move over to the state of Texas. And while we've seen recent polling that has James Tallarico below Ken Paxton, I actually believe that polling may be slightly off, and I'm still going to characterize this as a tilt Democratic state. This is a state that I think is going to be the closely watched, maybe one of the closest watched states of this entire midterm cycle, and I believe Democrats have an opportunity here to flip it. Ken Paxton being a weaker candidate is going to really hurt him. James Tallarico really raising an insane amount of money, truly, for the race for Texas Senate. And I just believe that when all is said and done, James Tallarico is a favorite to win across the state of Texas. Now, I know some people disagree and believe that Republicans are still positioned to win here, but even with the polling conducted, James Tallarico still has a slight edge in my personal analysis and opinion on this race going forward. Now, the final state I want to take a look at is the state of Michigan. And while I think this state is certainly shifting towards the right since Abdul al-Sayed won the Democratic primary, I still have this in a tilt Democratic wing. So again, similar to that of Texas, but shifting from the last video where we had this lean Democratic. In today's video, we are shifting this to tilt Democratic, so a closer watched victory, but ultimately Democrats still slightly favored to win. And I say this because of the environment that we expect Democrats to have in the midterm elections. I just believe that it might slightly pull Abdul al-Sayed over the finish line here in Michigan. So with all of this said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I had a tough time characterizing some of these states, such as Alaska, Texas, and Michigan, being some of them Ohio included in that as well, given the close margins that I have for each of those. But at this current point, this is what I feel comfortable with characterizing each of these races. So with that all said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with any of my characterizations? Let me know why in the comments below. I love reading through those and replying to you guys and seeing what you guys are thinking as well. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. If you're interested, you can look to the right for my 2026 midterm cycle playlist. You can take a look at some of the videos on there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.